Hello, podcast listener. This is your host with the most. We're going to talk a little bit about blood, specifically Tucker's thick blood. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of JJ Meets World.
And by the way, if you'd like to help support our podcast, visit jjmeetsworld.com where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some killer swag at our merch shop, or click the link to Apple Podcast and give us a 5-star review.
1, 2, 3, 4. J.J. Gordon, sort of like that Indiana Jones, in that he's always sniffing out his next adventure. Yes, he is! He's always interviewing guests so he can have them on his show and they can talk about pop culture, arts, and leisure. J.J. has his flag unfurled and he likes his french fries curled, and he's fun and then he twirls as he goes to meet the world. He will march into the rain even if his ankle sprained. Take a peek inside his brain. This podcast is called J.J. Meets World.
Tucker, you wanted to talk about high cholesterol and lawnmowers that are powered by batteries.
Yeah.
Even though you just told me we don't have to focus on that, let's start with that.
That's what's
Which
on
do you
my
want to
mind
start
today.
with? Because I need to know which one I'm starting with and how I'm going to transition. So which one would you like to start between those two?
The electric lawnmower is going to be more about asking you for recommendations than it is going to be about the topic itself. So let's start with cholesterol. Okay. And I have two things, actually, I need to say about this. I have two things.
Okay, before we get into it, do you have high cholesterol?
Yes, I do. And it's official. It's official, I do. I saw the number. I saw that the arrow was not in the green space. It was in the yellow space, which is above the green space. And that's not where you're supposed to be.
No.
It's not where you're supposed to be at all. Both kinds of cholesterol, too.
Can I tell you something I don't like about so I get the same numbers. Did you recently have a blood panel done?
On Friday, I went in and had my physical. So yes, I had a bunch of blood.
So for those people who don't know what Tucker's talking about, the main doctoring hub in Fargo Moorhead provides you this analysis afterwards, and it says, hey, the green is where it's normal, and you might have numbers that are below normal and above normal, and they kind of just show you where you're at. And in some cases they're like, we don't even have a number for you, so it's so high that we think that you might be dead already. Now here's what I don't like about these numbers. These numbers are basically set up for premium perfect bodies, right?
Okay.
So they're telling you that if Tucker Lucas were in perfect shape for his age, ate nothing but delicious fresh food, all that kind of stuff, then that's where the green is.
Right. And it's a range, right?
Like.
It's like it's this number to this number.
Yeah, if it were a pie, it's not a slice, it's showing the whole pie, and you just want a slice within this area where there's no spit. So here's what I think is the problem. I would rather they be like, hey, listen, for a guy your age and in your shape, you're actually not doing that bad. So we're not going to say it's green, we're not going to say it's yellow, we're not going to say it's red. We're going to say you're in purple. Right? It's a little bit of red and a little bit of yellow. There's some blue mixed in there. It's not an easy to distinguish.
I'd prefer a bunch of like smiley faces to frowny faces. That's what I would.
Like the pain chart? You want to see the pain chart?
I would like Tucker, your cholesterol is actually up here, and like it's a mid smile. It's not quite.
Yeah, you're like, oh, he's got a furrowed brow. He's not angry, but he's confused about what life choices you're making.
Yep, like the cholesterol is a red flag area, and we need to be careful about that.
You know what bothers me? And I finally told... So I had a doctor's appointment this last week, too, and I finally told the nurse who was doing my intake something I've wanted to tell nurses for a long time. They put the little job on your finger, right, to test your oxygen level. And she's like, okay, well, you're at, 98%. That's good. Your oxygen level's good. And then they put the blood pressure cuff on me, and they... And then... And then they take your blood pressure, and they're like, okay, it's XYZ over XYZ. And then they go and they start to chart it. And I finally was like, Emily, I don't know what the hell that means. You're just saying numbers. Hey, you've got a 480, 170. I don't know what that means. And she goes, yeah, in all honesty, we don't really do a good job educating people. She's like, you're good. And I'm like, I'm good. And she goes, yeah, your numbers are fine. We would love to see a world where you're, 71 over 180. Can't even like go back to it.
Yeah, so getting my blood pressure read, that's always my absolute favorite part of going to the doctor, because for whatever reason, I have historically always had really amazing blood pressure.
Okay.
And like when a little kid is like, I just ate potatoes and now I'm real strong, and you feel their muscle and you go, ooh, that's big muscles right there. They always give me some kind of feedback that gives me that same feeling of like, they're like, oh wow, your blood pressure is fantastic. And I'm like, I'm a big boy. I get that little bit of a kick out of it. This lady, she just goes, it's 117 over blah. And I'm like, is that good? And she goes, oh, that's great. And I was like, yes, awesome, excellent. I need that
Why
one
don't
win.
they just say that's great? Why don't they just say, good, you're good? It's high.
Right,
It's
no,
good.
apparently
they want to give you the numbers anyway. It's like if you brought your car in to get an oil changed, and they're like, hey, Tucker, your PSI and your tires are 32, 31, 40, and 42. I don't know if that's good or bad. Talk to the tire manufacturer. Talk to God, or the human manufacturer, and tell me if that blood pressure is good.
Regardless, the warranty is out on me. It's expired. So at this point, but luckily I live in a right to repair state. That's not true. I don't even know if I have the right to repair or not. But the end result was that regardless of whether we agree with the test results of my cholesterol, my doc said, I want to see you again in 3 months and we need to test you again. And I really need to see that be lower.
For the cholesterol.
For the cholesterol and the LDL cholesterol. So I was like, okay, all right, well, that's the first time a doctor's ever said that to me. Like past couple years when I'd go in, it would be like, yeah, your cholesterol's getting a little up there. Might be a good time to make some life changes and stuff. And actually, this is kind of funny. When was this? This was a couple months ago.
God, great story. So good.
I had to.
Really riveted.
I had to go in and...
So wait, this was in 2025. This happened in 2025, just to be clear?
I had a blood... If you like this part, wait till the rest of it happens.
Okay.
I had to go in to get blood testing because they were switching me medications. And so they're drawing blood for me. And the dude at the time who's drawing blood for me, he's way young. He's like in his 20s, super fit. And he's like, man, I mean, sometimes maybe you just get up and take a walk, And he's just saying this out loud to me. And he's like, yeah, I mean, maybe not McDonald's today. And I'm like, Jesus, right? This guy's like laying it on thick.
Because you were worried that your blood was coming out like extra thick or something, right? Like, did all of a sudden it's like, I'm taking a full vial of chocolate syrup before we get to any blood?
He just began to give me, from looking at my blood as it poured into the vials, he starts giving me life advice on how to live longer. So anyway, I'm like, okay, well, hey, I do want to lower my cholesterol because we know how healthy my dad is. Right?
Yeah.
And just how he is a specimen of health, of unblocked arteries and
you looking at him, you'd be like, are you 30 years old?
Yeah, is that George Clooney over there? I'm seeing over there. It's Bill Lucas. Like, that's not what's happening. And I'm halfway there. I mean, I'm at young Santa mode right now. Here was the other thing I wanted to bring up about cholesterol, though, which happened after my doctor's appointment and really pissed me off, is I'm on YouTube looking at Jason Bourne videos. I don't know why. I can't remember why I was looking. I don't know why I started doing that. And I really wanted to see the scene from the first one where he
talks about cholesterol.
No, where he's in the restaurant and he's like, "Hey, listen, I noticed this and I noticed that, and I'm clocking all these things." Well, right before he says that to his girlfriend or whatever, Matt Damon looks around the room, and at one point he looks at a guy sitting at the bar. The guy is clearly morbidly obese. And then Matt Damon goes, "Hey, I noticed this thing, I noticed that thing, and I noticed that guy in the bar, he weighs 215 pounds and can handle himself." And I'm like, that guy does not weigh 215 fucking pounds, because I weigh 215 pounds right now, and there's no fucking way. And I look, you just see this hunched over guy who's clearly 275, 300, 325. And I was like, that's not 215. come on, that's not 215. That is not okay if that's what I look like right now. So I need to for my own sake, just for my own baseline health, lose a couple of pounds. I'm not going to become an athlete anytime soon. And I think my guess is, but so I bring all this up because I want to ask you about it, because you have been on a health and fitness journey in general, and you've been doing great. And so,
feels good.
Because you've been in that world and you've been doing a lot of that stuff. I would like to ask a couple of questions about, like, one thing when I think about what are like.
Hold on, before you get into your questions.
Yeah.
Two points to make, because I'm having the same conversation with two separate Lucases within the last 2 weeks.
Who's the other one?
Your dad also weighs 215 pounds right now.
I know.
And I told him this. I'm like, this should be your motivation. JJ Gordon is a difference of 25 pounds from you right now. And that means that if I can do it, anyone can do it. And so I want to be chasing your weight, Tucker. I want to be coming after you in a big way. Yeah. Because I feel like there's this weird thing of saying, like, listen, if this guy who took such horrible care of his body for so long, like, was pretty much sponsored by Applebee's late night happy hour menu for a decade of his life, if he can do it, anyone else can do it.
Yeah, I've been sponsored by Uber Eats for the past 2 years.
I was going to also mention, like, it shouldn't be a surprise that you have high cholesterol, because you spent so much time talking about how you like the cookies
I love
that
frosting.
You like, the sugar cookies with frosting on it, and how you called me once and you were like, listen, there's no store-bought frosting that's as good as the frosting that I
Betty
I
Crocker
make.
is better than Pillsbury. It tastes better.
Pillsbury. What about Duncan Hines?
I haven't tried Duncan Hines yet. Well, now I need to slow down, right? Like this is not the time to go and buy some Duncan Hines and try it.
Should there be a shared universe of fake chefs that, like, could team up and fight something together? So,
Chef
like, Betty
Boyardee.
Crocker, Chef Boyardee,
Yeah.
Uncle Ben, Duncan Hines. Should all these fictional people get together and, like, fight something?
Do you think
Like China?
Do you think their cooking tastes compete, and so they make things together that just don't actually work? Because, like, Aunt Jemima shouldn't be working on pizza, and Chef Boyardee should not be making candy canes, or whatever.
That is the exact speech that tears them apart. And then they realize that the things that make them individually strong together make them the strongest, like a Megazord from Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Each Zord powerful on its own, but when the Megazord gets together, because let's face it, when they're little animals, like when they're a frog or a gorilla and all that kind of stuff, they all have individual great talents. But it's not like they come together and form another giant animal. They form their Megazord with its sword and all that kind of garbage.
They become something better than they were individually.
Right. Yeah.
So, with all of this being said, as I'm, working on, hey, what are some things I can adopt, and understanding how willpower works and how lazy I can be sometimes, my first thought has been, well, what are some very basic changes that would probably get me halfway there just by doing that? And so I'm thinking it's mostly like if I would change my eating habits from always just fast food, the constant McDonald's or whatever I'm getting, if I were to switch to lighter meals that I'm just making at home, that in and of itself will at least improve the quality of what I'm eating. It's not the only thing, because exercise and other diet changes would probably have to happen too. But I'm thinking if I were to do that and then really cut back on the sugar that I take in by like a lot, that those two things on their own would do a lot. That's not the only thing I want to do, but am I right in my thinking on that?
You absolutely. In fact, my coworker on the radio told me something years ago when we were talking about diet culture and about how people tend to follow whatever is the hot diet of the time, right? So the Mediterranean diet. And so everyone goes on the Mediterranean diet. And then do you remember how big Atkins was? And everyone loved Atkins. But she said, listen, it's you lose weight on the plate. So and I truly believe that. So it's smaller portions of, and it's not denying yourself stuff. It's just saying I'm going to have smaller portions. And so you get to the point of where, like, when your stomach shrinks a little bit and all of a sudden it's like, I can't eat a whole 6-pack and a pound on my own. And you know what? Screw you, Taco John's, for making me think that that's a meal for one person. That's a meal for a fucking family. Okay? But once you do that, I found that it was much easier afterwards. And here's the downside of high cholesterol. You've done the damage, right? So you've had the high cholesterol, and it's not just like all of a sudden in 3 months they're going to be like, "Hey, congratulations, you ate a
Right.
bunch of cucumbers,
You fixed
you're
it."
good to go."
Nope. They're going to look for a trend. Like they're going to go, hey, what have you done and where is it right now relative to where it was 3 months ago?
Right.
You know?
And like, have you ever seen the videos of like when they're like, "Hey, we looked in this apartment grease trap and this is what the inside of this pipe looks like." Essentially like that's what you've been doing to your arteries, right? And we've been filling it full of stuff. And here's the downside. It creeps up on you because someone should have had this conversation with us when we were 25, when we could have done something and adopted healthier lifestyle habits. And you just seem like there's always like tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. Even when I hit 40, I wasn't taking it as seriously as I should. Right. And it took until last year, almost this time when I started having my life crisis and I decided like, oh, maybe I should start eating a little healthier. And that doesn't necessarily mean I'm only eating salads. It means I'm being a little more intentional about the stuff that I am eating when I'm eating it and saying, listen, I don't need to have a blooming onion, cheese fries, and a steak when I go out. Like, let's concentrate on the stuff I like and then turn it into 4 meals when I'm done. There's a guy named Jamie Seltzer, and you should look him up, Tucker. So Jamie, and I don't want to get this wrong, but I think he weighed like close to 500 pounds. He's big in the North Dakota Democratic Party. He's done a lot, but recently he started a weight loss journey, and he's lost a significant amount of weight, and he's been on podcasts he's being flown out to places to be on their podcast to talk about these healthy living changes that he's had. And so he's got the thing where he holds the giant, like it looks like a big piece of jello, but he's like, this much fat is how much, came out of my rear end. But he's got some great stuff too lately that I've really been into and listening. And so this is the way I'm approaching things. You got to lose the weight and then you've got to get in shape. Right. So it's one thing to just try and drop those pounds because being less obese is going to put less strain on a heart that's already like working hard with that high cholesterol. Right. But if you can lose that weight, then it's easier to get into shape out of that thing. Right. And it doesn't happen overnight. But God, and I say this all the time. The people who say, oh, nothing tastes as great as skinny feels. I'm like, you've never had orange Danish rolls from Pillsbury because they taste fucking awesome. Like they are the best thing in the world. I'll eat a whole tube tonight if I want. But that being said, it does make a change. And so like I'm in the point now where like I've got to start getting into some kind of a workout routine. And it it doesn't have to be big bites. I've tried like I'm going to get a gym membership and I'm going to buy all this stuff and I'm going to be great and it's going to be so good. And then I give up on it. I mean, how did we start this video conference that we just did? Like I showed you, like I still got a great set of moobs, man, boobs.
That's what I'm laughing about because I just looked over on the right side of the screen and noticed. So I don't know if you see it, but I see an icon of each of us and it uses the very first frame of the video.
No, I do not see that.
I see it because I'm running it. And so it's just this image of you with your nipple.
My nipple showing? And like, I would love a world where like, I don't have to worry ever about taking my shirt off. And maybe there is a world like that for me. So let me ask you this. So you get this diagnosis that your cholesterol's high and they are to the point of where we're actively monitoring it. We want to see you in 3 months. What do you want to do for yourself? Because you're the only one who can change it.
Yeah, I mean, I want to adopt a healthier lifestyle in general. Here's part of the situation I'm in right now, and when I say situation, it makes it sound like it's actually a negative thing. So I'll be 41 in April, but right now I feel mentally and physically about as healthy as I've ever felt. And so now is a great time to being able to at least focus on my weight, right? I've got excess weight. I've had a lot of excess weight like that through most of my adult life, 215 or 210 or whatever I am. It's nothing new to me. So getting rid of that is fairly straightforward, or at least lowering it so that I'm heightening my expectations. But I just want my quality of life to go up. I want to do what I can to stay alive as long as I can. I also know what it feels like to try to suddenly adopt this like crazy different lifestyle all of a sudden and just change everything at once, right? And just like people who go into the gym on New Year's Day where they're like, oh, and now I do this, and it's really hard and it takes a lot. For me, whenever I adopt a strategy like that, I usually fail it. So I think daily wins and doing it gradually. It's nice that I've got this sort of deadline in 3 months where I understand I'm not going to fix my cholesterol in 3 months, but I do have a before to compare to hopefully an after. And the thing that if anything, I would love to be in a space where I don't need to go on medicine to manage the cholesterol. Right. I think that if anything, that's the thing I'd love to avoid the most. I'm not against it. If it's to a point where they're like, yeah, no, you're not lowering it and it's not happening. Well, then that's what I'm going to have to do, because if that helps me live longer. But I'm at a point where I'm going to this summer probably be weaning off of like fluoxetine and stuff. And I would love to not add a new medicine when I wean off of an old one, but we'll see. So it doesn't hurt my feelings at all. It just really kind of gave me a data point, because it wasn't like you were saying, it wasn't out of left field. I was like, what? No, I'm a basketball player. Like I can do it. Like, no, I'm very aware of how out of shape and unhealthy I've been, and I only have myself to blame for it. And so, yeah. So I'm not discouraged. I just thought talking to JJ would be a good idea, since you've been doing fantastic on your health journey.
Have you ever heard of the movie Hard Bodies?
Heard of it, yeah.
Okay, so the premise of the movie Hard Bodies, and I thought about this in the shower today, is that it's a young, like, con man in his early 20s who's just kind of skating along in California. And these 3 rich older guys come to the beach hoping to score, but they're too old. They're not cool. No one likes them. So Scotty convinces them that he knows how to get ladies and he can teach them how to do it. And so for $600 a month for one summer, plus free room and board in this giant beach house that they buy, because they think because they're rich, they'll just get the girls. But the girls don't want to come to their old man parties and stuff like that. And so Scotty helps them, score, essentially. Like, he helps them, like, teach them how to talk to women, throw cool parties that girls want to go to. But there's one part where Scotty takes them to a mall, because this movie's in 1984, so of course that's where you go to meet some ladies, right? And this one guy, who's kind of the chubbier one, keeps trying to talk to these women, and they don't want to give him the time of day, and he keeps trying to invite them to the party. And it's a montage of all these guys and how they're striking out and how then they end up, like, competing. And, well, the chubby guy finally figures it out, and he, like, the girls are all sitting in the food court, and he comes over and he lays down this pizza that says "party?" in pepperoni, and they all go, "What?" And then they all go to the party.
Oh, interesting.
And I thought about this in the shower, and I literally said, that's such bullshit. If someone ever sent me a message in a pizza, that's the last thing I'm going to believe. Also, can you just imagine how stupid they thought audiences were back in the day? That, like, they were like, don't worry, this guy who convinced a pizza place to make a pizza with a word spelled in it and then took it, dropped it off at your table. And here's the problem. These old rich men are our age. They were in their 40s. Yeah. And it made me think about how, like, I'm glad I'm not throwing a party. Also, my neighbors down the street, their kids are throwing parties every weekend, and they're really starting to get on my nerves. Yeah, the amount of parking and the amount of noise that these kids are making while they're walking to and fro. I'm just like, come on, gang,
I'm
be
in
smart.
I'm in bed by 9, but one thing I can do now that it's getting beautiful out right now too. I mean, I'm really looking forward to going for walks again,
For
because that
walks.
walks are just my absolute favorite thing when you can do it, right? And it's different. Yes, I could, I guess, get a treadmill, but it's not like I have a ton of space in my house for something else. But now that I'm a homeowner, there's all sorts of things I need to do to my house this summer. So upping the amount of like going outside and just doing things, physical activities, I think would be really, really good for me. All of that, not necessarily like going and playing a sport. No, thank you. That's not going to happen. But I mean, everything from like yard work to cleaning up my garage to all these other things. There's a lot of tasks I could be doing that would just get me more mobile.
So my doctor recently was talking to me about how he's not from this area originally, and he said that I have seen so many people who pull what he called hibernation mode, where every year they will gain and lose 30 pounds. And they'll gain weight in the late fall and in the winter, and then lose it in the spring and the summer. And he goes, the problem is that you never really lose all the weight that you gain, because it's easier to gain weight than it is to lose it, right? And so slowly, like this year you're, 175, and the next year you're 178, and before you know it, you're 195, and you're never getting back down to that original weight. And he goes, the biggest problem that he sees is the motivation to do something physical during the months when it's hard for us to be outdoors. Is it impossible? No, but it's not first of all, it is, I'm trying to think of the term where like, it's almost like there's a rich tax to it, right? Like if you want to go out and do some of this stuff, you need to be wealthy enough to afford the good clothes to stay warm outside. And cross country skis aren't free, like if you're going to go out and do one of these outdoor things. And so, yeah, in the nice weather of the last couple of days, my block has been very busy with people out walking. I saw kids on bikes and stuff like that. But really, we need to be concentrating on these things that keep people physically active during the winter months. And so we don't kind of regress back.
That's what I need to do, is get a bike.
Yeah, you
That's
should
what
get
I'll
a
do.
bike.
That'd be a good one. That'd be a good thing
Yeah.
to do.
Go to Play It Again Sports and get a bike, buddy.
Play it again, sports.
Was that?
Yeah.
Did you just make up that thing?
Nope. That's the jingle.
Are you sure?
So when I worked at the Heartland Poker Tour, my boss Greg Lang owned the Play It Again Sports in town at the time, and so
Shut the front door.
That's why it was kind of on my radar. And so, Play It Again Sports. I've heard that jingle a number of times before.
I walked into Play It Again Sports like maybe a month ago, and I said, "Do you have boxing gloves
Why were you looking for boxing gloves?
for like a commercial shoot?"
Oh, okay.
And they go, yeah, but only for kids." And so I was like, "Great, bye," and I left.
That sucks, buddy. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And then I went another time, and I needed a skateboard. And they didn't have a skateboard either.
How much do
and
you
they were
think-
like, try the thrift shops.
How much do you think I'll have to drop in a bicycle? Money.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Don't buy a very expensive bike.
Right, I wouldn't
Buy
want
like
to.
maybe like $100.
Oh, good. Okay. Excellent. Good. I wasn't sure if like
You know?
the tariffs or something.
No. Bikes are American made, right?
Yeah.
We're
Sure.
all about bicycles. It's
Yeah,
all
probably.
about and then you know what? If you and an enterprising neighbor want to get together and invent a flying machine, you can do that too, because this is America, damn it. So let's get to battery powered lawnmowers real quick, because I do want to touch on this, because I do have a lot of opinions.
So it's relevant for me because Dad is buying a house and moving back here, which is great. I'm going to be emptying out the garage. And so right now what I have is I have his lawnmower, I've got his snowblower and all that stuff. And I don't want to keep any of it for myself. I mean, I want him to keep it because I want to make the shift from gasoline to battery. And so lawnmower is the first place for me to go. And so I'm just beginning my research phase of like, all right, what is this even like? But you've already walked this path. So I'd like to know what you have learned.
Okay, so I got the battery powered snowblower first. And I got it's a small snowblower. I mean, it could probably do up to like 2 inches of snow and be fine. It's got a plastic paddle with it. But I got it because Jill doesn't like and is kind of unable to start our big lawnmower or our big snowblower, our gas-powered one. And so because I didn't want to be the only person who ever did the snow blowing, I was like, this will be perfect. Also, it had the plastic paddle so we could put it on the deck if we needed to, and it wouldn't gouge into stuff. I was amazed. First of all, the battery life, even in the middle of the winter, was amazing. And so then I happened to be at Lowe's. So we went with the it's blue, the oh God, what's the Lowe's brand, and it's blue, and I think it's called like Volt or something like that.
This is the snowblower.
The snowblower. And then because once you get into here's the thing, you have to decide what brand you're going to go for.
Okay.
So like there's the Eco Go, there's a couple of different like pretty famous brands, and most major battery makers are also making this as well. So like DeWalt has a whole slew of stuff. So if you already have DeWalt batteries, this would make sense. And the reason I say this is just like your power tools. Once you commit to an electric brand, you want the same one because it all is part of the same ecosystem. You're using the same battery in multiple things. So it's not like I have a battery that works for my snowblower and then a battery that works for my lawnmower. They're interchangeable, which is great. So I will never go back. And I kept our gas-powered lawnmower thinking like, sometimes you just need the power. You need the power of a gas-powered, lawn equipment. It's not true at all. It has never fought back on anything we've tried to get it handled. It's a slightly smaller deck, so I make maybe 2 extra swipes in my yard because it's 21 inches instead of 24 inches. But my God, it is fantastic. I can't tell you. I wish I would have gone battery years ago. It's that good. It's that consistently good for me. And so research your brands, but look at things that not are just like the lawnmower and the snowblower necessarily. Look at like a weed trimmer. Look at, like if they're going to have like, I think that every home should have a leaf blower. If you don't have a leaf blower, you can use it for so many different things. But look into those things and say, like, this one has the best overall ecosystem of products. And then whatever it is, just commit to it.
So you're in the Lowe's ecosystem?
Yeah, it's I will tell you exactly what the brand is. And I really like it. I mean, I do like it a lot. So hold on, I'm gonna pull it up here on my computer. Lowe's electric lawnmower. And it was on sale. That was the nice thing too, is like we got it at a time when it was super on sale. Cobalt. That's what it's called.
Okay.
Cobalt. And I've been very pleased with it. We've had this now 5 years and no problem with the batteries whatsoever. And the other nice thing too is they're extremely light. Battery powered stuff is very light. So I can loft this this lawnmower,
sure, nice,
easily for the no sweat.
Now, very good.
I still use a gas powered snowblower for anything over a couple of inches.
Okay,
like it's a Toro, it's built to last. I'm gonna keep using that one.
Sure,
but I haven't tried one of the larger battery powered snowblowers. I've never heard anyone complain about them, but I also don't know if they're daring enough to try it.
Well, I'm in the nice position of I don't currently own a snowblower, right? So it's if I already owned a gas-powered one, then I'd be like, I'm just going to stick with this for right now. But that's good to know. Okay, yeah, that makes a ton of sense. I got to pick the ecosystem.
And you should start looking right now for that snowblower because they're going to start clearancing things out for the season. And so, you might be able to save a couple $100
nice
on a snowblower and then just make that the decision for what you're going to do for the lawnmower and bada bing, bada boom. Or look if you got a neighbor kid who wants to earn some money and then be like, you're going to come over and you're going to mow my lawn. Because I also think like that's cute and adorable when you give some kid money to, mow your lawn and it looks crappy, but it feels good.
That's going to wrap it up for today's show. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help us continue to produce new episodes each week, visit jjmeetsworld.com, where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some swag at the merch shop, or follow our link to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all the sites the cool kids are using these days. JJ Meets World is produced every week by Tucker Lucas. You can find out more about Tucker's work by visiting moonbasemaria.com. If you want to get in touch with your host with the most, check out linebenders.com, where you can find direct contact info for JJ or booking information.
You know, there's a song about cholesterol, and it's C is for the stuff in your blood, H is for the stuff in your pee, O is for a lot of other stuff, and the rest of cholesterol is what you don't want.